happening around 11:40 last night at runway 4 at LaGuardia, and a Canadian Airlines plane colliding with a Port Authority fire vehicle. And now to a CBS News special report.
This is a CBS News special report. I'm Vladimir Duthier in New York. We're coming on the air with news overnight of a deadly collision at New York's LaGuardia Airport. These are pictures from the scene after an Air Canada jet hit an emergency vehicle crossing the runway late last night. 2 are dead, dozens are hurt. The airport will be closed for several hours as the NTSB prepares to investigate. Senior transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve joins me now to talk about this. Chris, good morning.
Good morning, Vlad. This was an Air Canada Jazz or Air Canada Express CRJ regional jet. We understand there were about 72 passengers plus 4 crew on board. Tragically, the flight crew, the 2 pilots, were killed in this collision. What we know is the plane was cleared to land. It had landed on runway 4. It was slowing down when it collided with a fire truck that was responding to a situation on the other side of the airfield. We can hear in air traffic control audio that the controller cleared that fire truck to cross runway 4, then quickly realized that he had just put it on a collision course with this airplane, pleaded with that fire truck to stop, but it was too late. Those couple of seconds were not enough time for that fire engine to stop. The collision happened. We know that approximately 41 people were taken to the hospital with varying injuries, 39 of them from the plane, 2 of them firefighters on board that fire truck. The NTSB, the National Transportation Safety Board, is launching a GO team. They will lead this investigation to look into the situation as to how this happened, why this happened. One thing that's very clear from the air traffic control audio is it was one controller who appeared to be handling an emergency with another airplane as well as this situation. So this all started, Vlad, actually before the Air Canada flight touched down. A United flight aborted its takeoff because of a warning light in the cockpit. They then reported an odor on board the airplane, declared an emergency. That's why the fire truck was trying to cross the runway to respond to that plane. There were reports of flight attendants had been sick. They checked in with the air traffic control tower, as is policy when they're going to cross a runway. They were cleared to do so mistakenly. In fact, we hear the controller after the incident telling another pilot that he messed up. That pilot said he thought he did everything he could have done in that situation. One of the things the NTSB will want to understand, was this controller alone in that air traffic control tower? Why was he juggling so many things? It was late at night, but you know, we saw controller workload factor into the mid-air collision in Washington, D.C. That had been the focus of conversation around aviation safety for over a year now. Vlad?
It's such a unique confluence of events. You've got that plane that is experiencing an issue, which then sends the truck out there, the air traffic controller realizing that there's an aircraft coming in. Now, according to the reporting that you did earlier this morning, it appears that the plane was coming in and had already landed, was going about 24 miles an hour. So not incredibly fast, but at that point with the truck crossing the runway, is there anything at all the pilots could have done?
There's not a lot they can do, Vlad. They're braking, and it's not. They're not going fast enough to like take off again. And you know, this isn't like a car where they can maneuver easily. So they have limited options. You know, one pilot I was talking to early this morning wondered if the fire truck could have seen the plane coming. And we know there was rainy conditions. It was late at night. So certainly one of the things the NTSB is going to try to understand was what did the fire crew, what did they see, what did they know about the proximity of that airplane? But for those pilots, it doesn't look like there was a whole lot they could do as they're trying to slow this airplane down.
Yeah, we see images that we just showed to our viewers there of the front nose of that aircraft absolutely crushed, destroyed. There you see it there on your screen, a horrific incident. Chris Van Cleve reporting for us this morning. Chris, thank you as always. Just to recap, 2 people were killed after an Air Canada jet hit an emergency vehicle crossing the runway at LaGuardia Airport late last night. Dozens were hurt. LaGuardia will be closed until at least 2 p.m. this afternoon. That's according to authorities. We'll have much more on this story coming up on CBS Morning starting at 7 a.m. Coverage will continue now on your local news and on our streaming channel, CBS News 24/7. This has been a CBS News special report. I'm Vladimir Duthier in New York.
This is CBS News New York.
And breaking right now at 6, 2 pilots killed in a runway collision at LaGuardia Airport, shutting down the entire airport. It is Monday, March 23rd. I'm Chris Raggi.
And I'm Mary Calvi, and you were just watching a special report. And Tony Sadiqa will have your first alert forecast in just a few moments. But first, let's get right to that breaking news story. A collision happening around 11:40 last night on runway 4 at LaGuardia.
A Canadian Airlines plane collided with a Port Authority fire vehicle during landing. Citizen video captures the large first responder presence on the runway. Our team has been live gathering details throughout the night, from the investigation to how flights are being diverted to other airports this morning.
We begin with Alan Devlin and the latest development at this hour. Alan.
Yeah, Mary, Chris, I'm standing in the connection bridge from Terminal B. That's pretty much where Air Canada arrives and departs. And I'll tell you, the only people inside this airport right now are travelers that are trapped here and the employees of LaGuardia. 2 pilots, both pilots on board this plane, are deceased, and dozens of others were injured in this collision. I want to show you video of the aftermath of that collision. Take a look here at your screen. This is the plane, I should say, showing how badly damaged the front end of this Air Canada CRJ 900 aircraft was left by this collision. The front landing gear seemingly ripped off and the nose of the aircraft torn apart, hanging from the frame. The Port Authority telling us an airport rescue vehicle responding to another incident drove onto runway 4 right into the path of this plane around 11:40 last night, Sunday night. 2 people inside the vehicle and 72 passengers and 4 crews on board the plane. Officials tell us the plane, a Jazz Aviation flight acting on behalf of Air Canada, inbound to LaGuardia from Montreal, was landing on the airport on the runway when that vehicle passed directly in front of it as it was slowing down upon that landing. The Port Authority confirming many of the passengers injured in this collision. Take a listen to Port Authority Executive Director Catherine Garcia speaking on those involved moments ago.
Initial numbers indicate that 41 passengers and crew were transported to the hospital, as well as the ARF officers. At this time, we understand that 32 have been released, but there are also serious injuries.
And this next part is chilling. We have obtained air traffic control communications of the moments just before the vehicle drove into the runway. And you can hear at first what appears to be a clearance for the maneuver. And then shortly after, the recognition from ATC that a collision was imminent, begging that truck to stop. It did not stop soon enough. Take a listen.
Truck 1 and Company, LaGuardia Tower, requesting to cross 4 at Delta.
Truck 1 and Company, cross 4 at Delta.
Truck 1 and Company, crossing 4 at Delta.
Frontier 4195, to stop there, please. Stop, Truck 1, stop. Stop, Truck 1, stop. Stop, Truck 1, stop. Jet 646, I see you collide with a vehicle there, just hold position. I know you can't move.
That air traffic controller saying stop almost a dozen times, if not more. Now, following that collision, a massive response from first responders racing to the runway. First, the runway itself was shut down individually, and then the entire airport was closed. As we've been reporting here this morning, officials say it will remain closed until at least 2 p.m. At least 2 p.m. So 8 hours from now, a number of passengers inside were either waiting to board or were already on board a plane on the runway waiting to take off when their flights were frozen in place. Eventually, they deplaned. In most flights, if not all flights here, canceled. Right now, there is an ongoing investigation into the potential lapse in communication, what caused this devastating collision. CBS News New York is working to determine injuries related to this collision, but just from looking at what is left of that plane, you can tell there is a lot of cleanup here. Again, dozens of people taken to the hospital, 9 in serious condition. The 2 on board that vehicle did survive miraculously, and the 2 pilots on board that plane did not make it. They are deceased. We were told the NTSB already has crews here on scene, with more of them arriving right now as we speak, right at 6 a.m. according to the Port Authority. We will continue to remain here at the airport and update you with more information as it becomes available. Right now, we are live from Terminal B. Alan Devlin, CBS News, New York.
Alan, thank you. Federal officials have arrived at LaGuardia this morning as they look to determine exactly what went wrong. Elijah Westbrook joins us. He is live there with the latest on the investigation. Elijah?
Well, Chris, I can tell you today really officially marks day one of this investigation here, and there are a few things that we are closely watching for, as well as officials. Let's go ahead and break this all down. You know, first and foremost, investigators from the NTSB will be fully on scene after some, as we mentioned, arrived overnight and the rest expected this morning. According to its website, when incidents like this occur, they'll begin documenting the crash site. So including things like that damaged CRJ-900 and the vehicle that the plane had collided with. We also expect a close review of air traffic control because the tower is responsible for all runway movement. Investigators will be asking, was there miscommunication or a failure to follow procedures? Both important questions when you think about it that are likely to be looked into. Now, as far as any news conferences, we know NTSB Chair Jennifer Homendy is expected to serve as the public face of this investigation, likely providing regular briefings starting today. And in the coming weeks, investigators will analyze data, interviews, and recordings before releasing preliminary findings and eventually a final report. So while we have some answers this morning, it's not much, but we have some. The full picture of what happens may take some time to come into focus. But of course, we'll keep you posted. Live right now, just outside of LaGuardia Airport, Elijah Westbrook, CBS News, New York.
Elijah, thank you. 6:11 right now, and we continue our live team coverage with Aziza Shuler, who's at JFK Airport this morning. Aziza.
Good morning, Mary. We've made ourselves inside of JFK Airport, right where departures are at Terminal 8. Now, this is the line coming into the door. You can see it swings here at the start as soon as you walk in, and it wraps all the way around. This is just to check in to go to TSA. So these folks have not even made it up to show ID or check in there with their boarding pass or anything like that. So there has to be hundreds, if not thousands, of people here early. Some people I spoke to have flights as early as 9 a.m. And they heard about how long these lines are going to be, so they got here early. I haven't met anyone who have been rerouted from JFK, but we're going to try to talk to some travelers this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm a little flustered.
Why is that? Have you heard about what happened at LaGuardia?
I did hear about what happened at LaGuardia, and I'm assuming that a bunch of a bunch of people are here, and I don't know, I have 2 hours until my flight, so wish me luck.
What time is your flight and where are you going?
It's at 8:20 and I'm going to Phoenix.
Now, did you hear about how long and intense these lives were going to be since the weekend and last week because of the TSA situation?
I did, but I was hopeful that maybe it would be at least an hour, but this looks like it might take all day.
Now, what will you do if you miss your flight? You said you only have 2 hours, but who knows how long this could take?
That's a good question. I'm traveling for work, so I would see if there's another flight, and then if not, then I guess just cancel it and not go. Yeah.
And that's the situation for so many people. Thank you so much. I hope you make your flight.
Yeah.
We also spoke to a family at LaGuardia Airport after their flight was canceled. They had been waiting there for hours, been on 3 different planes before being deplaned, and now they're trying to figure out how they're going to get home to Tulsa, Oklahoma after spending spring break here in New York City.
We knew the lines were going to be bad, so we came out and everything just happened one after another, and we were on 3 different planes and they never let us taxi out.
Yeah, and this line here at JFK continues to accumulate. More people are moving in by the second, but I will say is moving pretty consistently this morning. A lot of these people are like those first flights out. So as you would imagine, TSA lines are just opening up. So that's what's causing some of the backup. But as we know, this is coming at a time when President Trump has ordered ICE agents to be deployed at airports nationwide due to the partial government shutdown. Thousands of TSA officers have called out sick. Hundreds have quit their jobs due to not receiving paychecks for weeks, going on a month. And this is going into the second month of this partial government shutdown. And those ICE agents reportedly will not be doing any X-ray screenings or clearance of any type, but they will be checking IDs and doing some sort of crowd control for airports nationwide. For now, we're live here at JFK. Aziza Shuler, CBS News, New York.
Aziza, thank you for the very latest on how this incident is impacting traffic in the area. We want to take things over to Guy Stanier right now. Guy?
Good morning, Chris. Well, we're definitely starting to see volume picking up on the Grand Central Parkway. Due to the ongoing investigation and closure at LaGuardia Airport, the off-ramps from both the east and westbound Grand Central Parkway remain closed into the airport. As I said, we're starting to see some delays building up on the westbound side of the Grand Central as confused drivers hit the brakes trying to get into the airport only to be turned away. And now on a normal day, we see delays on the southbound side of the Van Wyck headed to JFK due to the long-term construction on the roadway. And we can anticipate, and we're even seeing more volume today as travelers head to JFK as an alternate to LaGuardia. Currently, we're seeing slow traffic on the southbound side through Ozone Park, so definitely give yourself plenty of extra time if you have a flight at JFK. Taking a live look outside in the Bronx, we still have this accident. It has the ramp closed from the inbound lower level of the George Washington Bridge to the Harlem River Drive. All traffic is being forced to use the Cross Bronx. And we also have problems for NJ Transit this morning. The Morrison-Essex line is running with 45-minute delays in both directions. This is all due to signal issues between Summit and Morristown. Alternate side parking is in effect today citywide. Chris, Mary.
Guy, thank you. We'll continue to check back with our team at LaGuardia on this breaking news. Stay with us for the very latest on air and updates on our website at cbsnewyork.com.
6:15 right now, and let's turn things over to the rain. What are we dealing with in the next few hours, Tony?
Yeah, Mary and Chris, it's kind of an unsettled start to the week as we deal with this cold front, bringing widespread showers. The steadiest, heaviest right now, right along 80 up towards 287. So give yourself a little extra time. Some ponding on the road's a possibility with this too. Not to mention the visibility has been impacted as well. Temperatures aren't that bad. There goes the Chevy Chopper. Numbers mid-40s for now. But I got to tell you, tomorrow morning will be about 10, 15 degrees colder. Plus a gusty breeze. Story today is it's wet to start. Weather improves this afternoon, but we'll pick up a chill on that gusty breeze later today. Guys, back to you.
All right, Tony, thank you. And we will check back in with our team at LaGuardia in just a few. A live look from the airport, again, expected to be closed to at least 2 p.m. this afternoon as the NTSB conducts their investigation into this crash. You're watching CBS News, New York. And welcome back to CBS News New York. We're continuing to cover the breaking news at LaGuardia Airport. Here's what we know so far. A pilot and co-pilot were killed after a Jazz Aviation flight operating on behalf of Air Canada collided with a Port Authority fire truck on the runway upon landing. The fire truck was traveling across that runway to respond to a separate incident aboard a United Airlines flight. 39 passengers and crew members were taken to area hospitals, some with serious injuries. Most have since been released from treatment. LaGuardia will be closed until at least 2 o'clock this afternoon to give investigators with the National Transportation Safety Board the space and time they need to conduct this investigation.
6:20 right now. Let's get to your first alert forecast. Tony.
Yeah, we've got some wet weather that we're watching through this morning. So it is going to be a little tricky to get around. You have to watch for a little bit of ponding on the roads, cold fronts going by. Really the only weather anywhere across the country. System goes by, so there's an elevated rain chance. Let's show you how things break down day by day. And today, definitely going to be unsettled, especially the first half of the day. Then it quiets down for a stretch of days, and then it's back-to-back systems we'll be watching. One Wednesday night could leave us with a few showers Thursday morning, and then Friday morning could start off a little damp too with a system going by. There's a look at the first alert radar right now. Showers continue to go, and you're extending rain from Warren into Morris, portions of Bergen, Rockland, and Westchester. That's where the steadiest. All this eventually shifts to the south and east, so you could see some steady showers moving through the city. Through about 7, 8 o'clock, damp for the commute all across Long Island, too, before we'll start to see the activity taper. And then for a time, could actually mix in some wet flakes further to the north as we get ready to wind this down. As far as temperature goes, it's actually relatively mild. We're above average to start. It's 40s and 50s. Some 30s are mixing into the north as that cold air moves in. But we go further north and you'll find 30s in Albany and Buffalo. These are the type of temperatures that are moving in as we pick up that north wind and really get on the other side of this front. So you'll see how temperatures, I mean, we've already seen our high for the day. That was around midnight. Now, we'll probably be in the upper 30s, low 40s. Gusty breeze makes it feel cooler. Rain chances are coming down. So again, that high of 50 was in the past, 6:50 for the sunrise. It's probably a little bit better by the time we get towards sunset. There's a look at your first alert 7-day forecast. It's a cool start to the week. We'll warm things up, 50s and 60s come Thursday. Not a bad finish to the week or the weekend. Not as warm as it was this past weekend, but should be mainly dry. Chris and Mary.
Tony, thank you. 6:22 right now, and our live coverage continues on this breaking news story at LaGuardia. The deadly collision involving a passenger plane. The airport closed through 2 p.m. Stay with us. We continue to follow that breaking news out of LaGuardia Airport. 2 pilots have been killed in a runway collision. This has shut down the entire airport. Of course, we'll continue to follow it throughout the morning for you. 6:25 right now, and right now, let's get to Tony Sadiku in the Immersive Weather Studio.
This is First Alert Weather, sponsored by your Tri-State Chevy dealers.
All right, Mary, so we are tracking some wet weather, and this is going to be a bit of a slow start for many right through the morning rush. You got rain, and a line of it, you basically draw a line from sections of Warren County right through Wharton and Roxbury, New Jersey, up towards Wyckoff and Nanuet. Northern Westchester, a place like Bedford, to Richfield and Monroe, Connecticut. Rain chances will be highest through this morning, may still be lingering through about afternoon, but the day does trend drier by the evening commute. Let's talk more about that morning commute. And Guy, there are many issues as folks are in a scramble this morning.
That's right, Tony. And we do have a little bit of an update for drivers in Queens. Not that it really matters much. The ramps to LaGuardia Airport have been reopened earlier. Police had the ramps closed with cones and flashing lights and everything. This was on the east and westbound side of the Grand Central. But the airport itself remains closed, so it doesn't really matter. You can get into the airport, but you're not going anywhere. The overhead signs are still telling drivers this, and we are seeing delays building up on the Grand Central Parkway. We think a lot of people are tapping the brakes, confused as to what's going on in the area. Now, on a normal day, we see delays on the southbound side of the Van Wyck headed to JFK due to long-term construction. We can anticipate even more volume today as travelers head to JFK as an alternate to LaGuardia. Currently, we're seeing some very slow traffic on the southbound side through Ozone Park. Definitely give yourself plenty of extra time. We have a new problem in Saddle River, New Jersey. Route 17 is closed on the northbound side. This is all due to flooding near Allendale Avenue. Alternate side parking is in effect today citywide. Chris, Mary?
Guy, thank you. 6:27, and our live team coverage on the breaking news out of LaGuardia continues. We'll check back in on the latest from the scene.
Again, LaGuardia closed until at least 2 o'clock today. From how flights are being diverted to the investigation to what exactly happened. We'll have full live reports coming up in moments.
This is CBS News New York.
Stop, truck one, stop. Stop, truck one, stop. Stop, truck one, stop.
Breaking right now at 6:30, a plane full of passengers collides with a Port Authority fire truck on the runway at LaGuardia. 2 people confirmed dead, several injured. The airport completely shut down. It is Monday, March 23rd. I'm Mary Calvi.
And I'm Chris Raggi. We'll check in with Tony Sadico in your first alert forecast in a moment. But first, the latest on this major breaking news story from about 11:35 last night. A pilot and co-pilot are dead after an Air Canada plane collided with a truck on runway 4 at LaGuardia. Passengers were on board at the time. 9 are still in the hospital. The NTSB is currently on site investigating because of this incident. LaGuardia Airport closed until at least 2 p.m. this afternoon. Our team has been out live in the field since the early hours of the morning, gathering the very latest information from diverting flights to the details on this incident.
We begin with our Alan Devlin live at LaGuardia Airport with more on what we know right now. Alan.
Yeah, Mary and Chris, the only people still here at the airport are either trying to find a new flight from their canceled or delayed flight, or the employees who actually work at the airport. This crash, this collision from last night, was downright scary, and we have video showing an up close, the aftermath, I should say, of what immediately happened following that collision. Take a look here at your screen to see the remnants of that plane. There really isn't much left, but if you look towards the front of the plane, you can see the damage there, the cockpit torn apart, and the landing gear basically non-existent. Authorities tell us this Jazz Aviation flight operating on behalf of Air Canada was cleared to land here around 11:35, 11:40 last night, Sunday night, at the same time as an air rescue vehicle was cleared to cross the runway it was landing on. That collision came as the plane with 72 passengers and 4 crew members on board was slowing down towards the tail end of the runway. The moments immediately before captured in chilling air traffic control communications. You're going to first hear the clearance for the truck and then the air traffic controller begging that truck to stop.
Truck 1 and company, LaGuardia Tower, requesting to cross 4 at Delta.
Truck 1 and company, cross 4 at Delta.
Truck 1 and company, crossing 4 at Delta.
Frontier 4195 to stop there, please. Stop, truck 1, stop. Stop, truck 1, stop. Stop, truck 1, stop. Jet 646, I see you collide with vehicle here, just hold position. I know you can't move.
And obviously a breakdown in communication there between the air traffic controller and that truck out there on runway 4. On top of those 2 pilots that have been pronounced dead, dozens of passengers and some crew members taken to the hospital, some with serious injuries. The Port Authority Executive Director spoke about the extent of the injuries of those involved earlier this morning from right here at Terminal B. Take a listen.
Initial numbers indicate that 41 passengers and crew were transported to the hospital, as well as the ARF officers. At this time, we understand that 32 have been released, but there are also serious injuries.
Now here at the airport, confusion as it remains shut down until at least 2 p.m. today. Doors locked, not allowing people in, only allowing people out as passengers on board planes that were scheduled to take off scramble to figure out their next move. Some of them witnessing the immediate aftermath of that collision from their plane's window from the runway.
We were we were in the chaos of the TSA lines, so we missed our plane. We were on one of the overhangs, and then we looked to the right, and suddenly there were tons of emergency vehicles, and people were getting off planes saying there was an accident, and then finally you could see there was a plane, the nose was resting on the tarmac, and it was like for 2 hours, it's still there.
And like I'm saying, still a lot of confusion here at LaGuardia. It is an eerie feeling for all the passengers here, thinking about the fact that that could have been them. That's what they've been telling me here pretty much all morning so far. The NTSB is on scene along with the NYPD, the FDNY, the Port Authority, and pretty much every other agency you could think of that would need to be involved in something of this magnitude. That plane remains out there a couple of 100 feet away from where I'm standing here in Terminal B, out on the tarmac as they continue to investigate this incident. Much more coming up in just about 30 minutes at 7 o'clock right here on CBS News New York. Live from LaGuardia Airport, Alan Devlin, CBS News New York.
Alan, thank you. And the National Transportation Safety Board is leading the investigation. Elijah Westbrook joins us live from the airport with the latest on that. Elijah.
So, Mary, this investigation is now in the hands of the feds. This is a federal investigation that is currently playing out here at LaGuardia Airport, one that really could pan out to be a complex investigation, just given the different areas that officials will need to look into. So let's go ahead once again and break this down for you. Here is what we know this hour, just shortly after 6:30. The NTSB GO team, as it described, are arriving here, and they'll break up into specialized groups, each tasked with a different piece of the puzzle, if you will. You know, as we've seen play out in similar investigations, one team will focus on air traffic control, reviewing audio and data to see what communications happened between the tower and that vehicle. Another team will examine the aircraft, right? Looking at the damage and any data recorders on board, such as that black box. Investigators will also interview the two officers who were inside that truck and crew members. I think at this point, a major focus will be runway access and whether proper clearances were given before that vehicle entered the runway. We do know that NTSB Chair Jennifer Homendy is expected to speak publicly, likely providing updates as early as today on the things that I had mentioned. But in the short term, we may get preliminary details quickly, but a final report could take months. So just keep that in mind. Of course, we'll keep you posted. Live right now, just outside of LaGuardia Airport, Elijah Westbrook, CBS News, New York.
Elijah, thank you. Let's head down to JFK Airport, where Aziza Schuler has more on what passengers will be facing this morning. Aziza?
Chris, we moved downstairs near the garage and the walkway where passengers are getting off the AirTran train, making their way into Terminal 8 here at JFK. I'm going to walk down to the board to see what the flights are looking like here at JFK Airport. Departures right now, many of them say that they're on time. You have a few that are delayed, but not many cancellations. I see one cancellation of a flight going to London. Other than that, for the most part, things are pretty much on track. You have flights that are actually boarding as we speak. As we were pulling into JFK Airport on the expressway, there were planes positioned at the gates. We saw a few planes actually take off into the sky. So that is a good sign. But when we were upstairs at the entrance into the Terminal 8, that is, I'm sorry, the lines were insane. You could see people lined up, wrapped around the entire terminal up into the front door. So it was no telling how long it would take to actually get to the TSA check-in point. Some people arrived 4+ hours early for flights that were already scheduled for today. Others, as we know, there are people from LaGuardia who have been rerouted due to that plane collision and are coming to JFK trying to get on another flight. One family we spoke to from Tulsa, Oklahoma, are trying to get back after spending spring break here in New York, and right now they don't know what they're going to do. What's your plan now?
I changed my flight to JFK, so I plan to have an Uber to get there.
And what time is that flight out of JFK?
2 p.m., so I get plenty of time.
Hopefully, because you never know what the lines are.
Yeah, hopefully.
I see your eyes.
And once again, we are right at the walkway where folks are getting off the AirTran as we see a stream of people are coming in. They're extremely busy here. Excuse me, sir. What time is your flight this morning?
9:30.
Are you early for that?
I'm a little early. Yeah, we got rerouted from LaGuardia. We were supposed to have taken off from there.
How difficult was it to get on another flight here at JFK?
Actually, it happened really smoothly. I get an email this morning when I woke up saying, change your flight.
So you didn't even leave the house yet by the time you got that notification?
Correct.
And what time was your initial flight out of JFK?
9 o'clock.
Out of LaGuardia?
9 o'clock.
When you heard about the plane collision, what went through your mind? Were you at all just weary about flying today?
Well, not weary about flying. I mean, we fly a lot, so, but it was definitely I was happy not to be out of that airport at that particular time, so hearts go out to everyone that might have been impacted.
Thank you so much for stopping. I know you're very busy. It's urgent that you get upstairs. The lines are long right now, so I hope everything goes well for you.
Thank you.
So as we just heard, we met a passenger coming from LaGuardia, and it's good to see that he was able to get here on time. Excuse me, he didn't come from LaGuardia, but his flight was originally out of LaGuardia. But as I imagine, there will be plenty of passengers trying to make their way from LaGuardia to find another flight out of New York City this morning. I'm going to toss it back to you, Chris.
Aziza, thank you.
6:40 right now, and let's get you over to traffic reporter Guy Stan. You're tracking how the incident is impacting the roads in the area. Guy.
Thank you, Mary. We're going to start in Queens. Due to that closure at LaGuardia Airport, we're seeing delays building up on the westbound side of the Grand Central Parkway. The overhead signs are telling drivers of the closure, but this is causing confusion on the roadways. On normal day, we see delays on the southbound side of the Van Wyck headed to JFK due to long-term construction, and we can anticipate even more volume today. Travelers head to JFK as an alternate to LaGuardia. Currently, we're seeing slow traffic on the southbound side through Ozone Park. Definitely give yourself plenty of extra time. We have another problem in the Bronx. We have an accident investigation. It has the ramp closed from the inbound lower level of the George to the Harlem River Drive. All traffic is being forced to use the Cross Bronx, and this is now causing a mess at the George Washington Bridge. An hour wait getting through Fort Lee and across the span, and only growing. You can see traffic barely moving here. If you're headed into Manhattan, definitely use the Lincoln or Holland tunnels. Those currently have just about a 20-minute delay. Alternate side parking is in effect today citywide. Chris, Mary.
Guy, thank you, and we will continue to check back with our team at LaGuardia on this breaking news. Stay with us for the very latest on air and updates on our website at cbsnewyork.com.
6:41. Let's turn things over to meteorologist Tony Sadiku in our immersive studio.
Yeah, Mary, so we've been in and out of showers really since yesterday evening. We still have rain coming down, so keep in mind, roads are wet. You'll run into some ponding, too. Give yourself a little extra time to navigate that, mainly north and west of the city. Wipers are on. This afternoon's commute should be a drier trip, but temperatures on the cooler side. Visibility is reduced. Temperatures out the door this morning are relatively mild, but guess what? They're not going to be tomorrow. Mild. Still, it's technically spring now, but tomorrow's going to have more of a winter feel when you step out, waking up to wind chills in the 20s and 30s early on a Tuesday. Guys.
Tony, thank you. 6:42 right now. Another live look from LaGuardia Airport. We're going to talk with senior transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve and bring you the latest details.
Plus, it is a rainy and cold start to the week, as Tony just mentioned, but Tony's also tracking some warmer temperatures that ahead. We're going to get to that when we come back.
6:45 right now, and breaking news as the NTSB is now taking control of the investigation into last night's deadly runway collision at LaGuardia Airport.
Joining us now is CBS News senior transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve. Chris, good morning. Thanks for taking a few moments for us here. Port Authority truck was responding to a situation on a United Airlines flight. What do we know about what was happening with that UA plane? Why did it declare an emergency?
Yeah, Chris and Mary, good to be with you. The United flight had aborted a takeoff because of a warning light in the cockpit. After that, it reported there were fumes in the cabin, and eventually the flight attendants in the aircraft reported feeling ill. The plane declared an emergency. They requested firefighters respond to the airplane. And we hear in the air traffic control audio, the controller was spending a lot of time trying to figure out what gate that plane could go to, getting resources moving to them. There was talk where they maybe need to use air stairs or evacuate where they were, getting them to a safe place where that could happen. All of that is happening while the airport operations are going on, and this same controller was dealing with the fire engine, which he then appears to clear to cross runway 4, then seconds later tells the truck to stop. By then it was too late.
And Chris, a short time ago, the FAA announced that the NTSB is taking over this investigation. What can we expect in the coming days?
Well, you're going to see a thorough investigation here. The first thing the NTSB is going to focus on are what they call perishable evidence, things like getting the black boxes out of the plane. If there's any recording devices on that fire truck, they're going to look to get a hold of those things. They'll also look to gather whatever else they need to take with them, need to review from the crash scene. Typically, the airplane will get moved into a hangar so they can piece together that. They're going to look at everything from what was going on in the control tower. It does appear that one controller was doing an awful lot. They're going to want to understand, was he alone? Why was his workload so high at that time of night? They're going to look at survivability factors. Are there things in the design of that airplane that should change over time to make things more survivable?
Chris Van Cleve, CBS News senior transportation correspondent, thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Now let's get a check of your first alert forecast and switch gears. Get over to Tony Sadiku, who's in our immersive studio right now. Tony?
Hey, good morning, Chris. So we got some wet weather to work through on a Monday morning. So that's the prettiest looking day. And while it's not severe like we saw out west of our area, there will be kind of an inconvenience getting around. From Dennis and Netcong, our weather watcher there, closing in on an inch of rain. Bob and Berryville, too. Beneficial rain north and west, but again, it's rather damp to start. Not quite what we had over the weekend. Bob still celebrating this in Manchester yesterday, all the way to 75 degrees. Would love to get back to that, but it's not the story today. Typically, this time of year, you get rain. It usually means signaling a pattern change, and that's what we've got now working through a cold front. It's 46, not too gusty right now. You'll note the wind's picking up. Pollen is not really registering as that problematic, but hey, if you are suffering from it, you may still note it with the trees and the weeds, still an issue. Clearing out a bit, which is making some progress. Sussex, Orange, Putnam, Dutchess, where, if you were with us earlier, we had some wet weather, still some damp roads, likely some puddles and ponding you're dealing with here through portions of Morris, Passaic, and Bergen and Rockland. City, it's mainly showery. Showers will push on through 7, 8 o'clock, mainly east of the area after that. With the weather clearing, maybe you end up with a few flakes as this winds down. Notice the showers are winding down and the temperatures are actually dropping for a time. We'll pick up a gusty north breeze. It's going 10 to 20 at any given time today. It's not super strong, but enough to notice, and I think that's going to be the case much of the day today. Here's a look at your first alert 7-day forecast. 47 today, 47 tomorrow. Tomorrow's 47 is different. It's brighter, chill in the air first thing. 30s feel like 20s, and then we're bouncing right back. 50s and then 60s coming up on Thursday. Looking good for the Mets home opener. Then cooling down after that. Weekend's looking mainly dry. 6:49 as we get you back over to Guy Stanier, and there's been multiple issues out there you're watching this morning.
That's right, Tony. It's a busy Monday morning. We're going to start in Queens. We have heavier than normal volume on the westbound side of the Grand Central Parkway. This is all due to the closure at LaGuardia Airport. We have a problem in the Bronx, an accident investigation as the ramp closed from the inbound lower level of the George to the Harlem River Drive. And this is causing a mess at the George Washington Bridge. Over an hour delay. If you're headed into Manhattan, you definitely use the Lincoln or Holland. Those have a 30-minute wait. Alternate side parking is in effect today citywide. Chris, Mary.
All right, Guy, thank you very much. It is 6:50 right now. Our live team coverage continues right here. Another live look from LaGuardia Airport right now. We've been covering this all morning long. The airport shut down till at least 2 p.m. this afternoon after an Air Canada flight crashed into a fire truck from the Port Authority on runway 4. We'll have continuing coverage right after this. .653 right now. We have been following this breaking news from LaGuardia Airport. 2 pilots confirmed dead, several passengers in serious condition after a collision on the runway. Let's now check in with CBS Mornings.
Nate Burleson joins us with preview. Nate.
Hey, Chris and Mary, good morning. Good to see you. Here's what's coming up on CBS Mornings. You've been reporting on this all morning. We will have the latest on the deadly plane crash at LaGuardia. We have team coverage breaking down everything that we know about the collision between a jet and a fire truck. Plus, it isn't just humans who face soaring healthcare costs. Our furry little friends are a great part of our lives, but bad for their wallets sometimes. We will have some pets and their owners in studio to talk about the high price of pet care. Also, actor Patrick Ball is here to talk about the latest season of the Emmy Award-winning drama The Pit. And Monday means Beg Knows America. David shares a raw and revealing conversation with singer-songwriter Charlie Puth. We'll also have everything you need to know, plus more on the show. So we'll see you at 7.
All right, Nate, thank you. And on the other side of the break, another check on this breaking story we've been talking about at LaGuardia Airport this morning.
Live look from the airport, which is closed until at least 2 p.m. Stay with us.
Recapping breaking news we're following this morning, 2 pilots were killed when their plane collided with a truck at LaGuardia Airport upon landing overnight. Take a look at this devastating damage. 39 passengers and crew members were taken to area hospitals, some with serious injuries. The airport will remain closed until at least 2 p.m. this afternoon. Officials with the National Transportation Safety Board have arrived on scene and are currently investigating. The number here on your screen is a helpline from Air Canada. For any questions for those in need of assistance, that's 1-800-961-7099.
6:57 right now. Let's get you over to First Alert Traffic. Guy Stanier with the latest.
Thank you, Mary. We're definitely seeing heavier than normal volume on the westbound side of the Grand Central due to that closure at LaGuardia. The overhead signs are telling drivers of that closure, and it is causing some confusion. We have a problem in the Bronx, an accident investigation as the ramp closed from the inbound lower level of the George to the Harlem River Drive. And this is causing a mess at the George Washington Bridge. At least an hour wait getting through Fort Lee and across the span. If you're headed into Manhattan, definitely use the Lincoln or Holland tunnels. Those have just a 30-minute wait. And now over to Tony Sadiku with a check of your First Alert forecast. Tony.
Hey, good morning, guys. So it's a bit of a messy start to this Monday weather-wise, too. Still dealing with areas of rain moving through city, points north and west, where it's been coming down for a while. Haven't seen much rain Monmouth, Ocean County, but you're starting to get in on some of that Long Island. It's light showers. You move over the Sound into Connecticut. Still some light rain, too. So it's umbrellas out the door and a few extra minutes. If you could budget that in, it'll help. 43, most of the rain is light to moderate. Not a lot of movement in the temperatures today. We're basically stuck in the 40s. We'll tack on a gusty breeze, which adds to the chill. So while yesterday we were doing great in the 60s, some of you 70s, it's a different feel today for sure. System exits slowly. That goes by. We pick up a breeze, maybe a little leftover drizzle, some flakes to the north that should really accumulate. And then tomorrow it's all about high pressure. So we've got a quieter day, your commute, but it's cold to start. Wind chills 20s. It's coats out the door. We're still stuck in the 40s all day. By Wednesday, now it's trending milder, feeling better, 54, maybe a good candidate for a pick of the week. I think it could actually get even warmer coming up on Thursday. So we'll go pick of the week for that day. Partly sunny. It's mild and pleasant for the Mets home opener. Could actually see some 70s back on the way coming up on Thursday. But there will be a couple of intermittent systems we'll be watching Wednesday night into Thursday, and then again Thursday night into Friday. That period could be a little wet as well. Chris and Mary.
All right, Tony, thank you very much, and thank you for watching this morning. I'm Chris Raggi.
I'm Mary Calvi, and CBS Mornings is next.
When I walk into the broadcast center, it is home for me, and it's because of the relationships that I've built over the years with the people that surround me on that set, whether if it's Otis or Scott.
Who's complaining about the weather today?